Just how hard is it to be a practicing Catholic? The Catholic Church has 5 precepts or rules that give us a list of the minimum requirements to be practicing Catholics. Are you keeping these precepts? Do you even know what they are? Many Catholics don't. So we're going to go over those today. Number 1, attend Mass on Sundays and other holy days of obligation, and refrain from work and activities that would hinder the sanctification of those days. Mass is essential to the Catholic faith. It's the pinnacle of worship and prayer. Not attending Mass on purpose is a mortal sin because you're saying no to Jesus' invitation, intentionally breaking your relationship with God. Note that I emphasized the on purpose part. There are times when it's acceptable to miss Mass. Illness, caring for an infant, or snow piled up so high you can't even open your door. Not that I have ever experienced such a thing. Those are just some examples. Let's say your kid has a soccer game at noon. Nope, that's not one of them. You can go earlier, or go to the vigil the day before. Or, I don't know, miss the soccer game. Just don't teach your kids that making time for soccer is more important than making time for God. Maybe you're traveling. Well, you can usually find a church. Masstimes.org is a great website for that. Okay, so maybe you're just not feeling prayerful or worthy. That's when you need him the most. Don't walk. Run. Run to the nearest Mass. Run. Feed your soul. Number 2, confess sins at least once a year. It's recommended you go even more than this. I often hear every 3 to 4 weeks. Going at least once a year is the bare minimum, but you should be going to confession often. This is really important because it gives us a kind of recharge. Our human nature is kind of like this old iPhone 13 Pro. If I don't reboot it for a while, it gets bogged down. It doesn't work well at all. And the battery drains so quickly. It's really frustrating. When we don't go to confession, our guard is let down and we are more prone to temptation. If I reboot the phone, the Bluetooth starts connecting again, the battery lasts longer, and it's not as prone to overheat. With confession, we get a reboot as well. Our souls start connecting to God again, our resistance to temptation lasts longer, and we're not as prone to sin. It clears the cache, kills the bugs, and gives you a fresh start. Haven't been to confession in a long time and nervous to go? I've heard from a lot of priests that they rejoice when they hear a person return to confession after several years. Don't believe me? Listen to this.
Just so you know, like it's also an option to come into confession and say, hey, Father, it's been 20 years since my last confession. I'm not really sure what to do and I could use some help. Awesome. Beautiful. I'm happy to help. No judgment, no concern, not even a second thought about it. Cool. Like, I've done this before. I've done this many times before. I love to do this. I'm going to help you out and we're going to be able to move through it very smoothly and safely and confidently. And if you don't know the act of contrition or even know what it is, don't worry about it. I've got one memorized and I am well rehearsed at like saying, hey, just repeat after me. Oh God, I'm truly sorry. I can lead you through that, right? So if you're just nervous, you're scared, you don't want to mess up, you want somebody to guide you through it, you can just say that and the priest will be very happy to lead you through that, okay?
So make a priest's day. break the cycle of not going to confession. And if you do have mortal sin weighing you down, do not wait a year. Please go as soon as you possibly can. Number 3, receive the Eucharist at least during the Easter season. The Eucharist is another vital part of our faith. It is described in the Catechism as the source and summit of the Christian life. And of course it is. Jesus said, "Unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you." Yeah, that's pretty important. Okay, so we're just going to tuck that statement right over here for a minute. Okay, but why must we receive the Eucharist during Easter? We celebrate the resurrection of Christ on Easter. It's the day that Jesus defeated death. It's the very reason that we even have a Christmas and Good Friday. The Catechism calls it the Feast of Feasts. So, in using the phrases the Catechism has laid out for us, what better than to participate in the Feast of Feasts at the summit of Christian life? That's amazing. We should be so excited about this that we don't have a problem whatsoever in following this precept. One caveat here. If you have any mortal sin you have not yet confessed, including skipping Mass, make sure to do that before receiving the Eucharist. Seriously, receiving the Eucharist with mortal sin, it's not a good idea. Don't believe me? Listen to this. "Whoever therefore eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty of profaning the body and blood of the Lord. Let a man examine himself, and so eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body eats and drinks judgment upon himself. That is why many of you are weak and ill, and some have died." Hashtag not a symbol. Number 4, observe the church's fasting and abstinence days. We're talking Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, and Meatless Fridays during Lent. Some people tend to think in a way that says, does God really care? Is he going to get angry if I eat a burger on a Friday? It's not about the burger, though. It's about discipline. Jesus calls us to fast. In a world where we get everything we want instantly, Amazon Prime, Netflix, DoorDash, the church asks us to pause and say no to our stomachs so that we can say yes to our souls. It's a kind of spiritual weightlifting. If you can't skip a pepperoni pizza for one day, how are you going to resist a major temptation when it hits you? Practice makes perfect. Number 5, help provide for the material needs of the church. There is no precept for supporting this channel by subscribing to it, or liking and leaving a comment on this video, or even visiting journeytosainthood.com. But there is one for supporting the needs of the church. Without the church, without our priests, we would have no Eucharist. It is up to us to make sure that we provide for the church materially so that we and others can receive the sacraments. Beyond that, the more we give, the more the church can provide. Not just stopping at the sacraments, but also helping those in need. With over 1.4 billion, with a B, Catholics worldwide, imagine what our church could do if everyone follow this precept. Here's the thing. These 5 precepts, they are not the finish line. It's not like you can just check each one off and then say, okay, I'm finished. I'm a practicing Catholic now. No. These are the starting line. Once they're done, you attach yourself to the vine that is Christ. And then you flourish and you grow and you bear fruit. Don't just be a Catholic on paper. Be a Catholic in practice. I will see you at Mass.